Hi everyone. I know. It's been a long time. It's been a year since I did a farm trip. But guess what? Today we're going back to the farm, back to Rukumberi, and I want to kind of show you what's been going on since last year and possibly see what's happening in the greenhouse. And then we'll also do a small Q&A session about agriculture, the challenges I've faced, and the opportunities. So come along, let's go. The best part of actually having a farm is having some farm fresh food. So this is literally what my guys have prepared for me today. Here you have some amazing sweet bananas. Over here you have some really delicious and aromatic limes. And then of course, my favorite fruit in the world, papaya. Some people don't like it. I don't understand who those people are, and I don't understand why they have such terrible taste. Now this, a fruit that is not very common. It's called a jackfruit, or in Kinyarwanda they call it ifenes. In Uganda they call it ifene. Now this we have it. Some people can have it fresh. If you actually have it raw, when it's unripe, it actually can be a substitute for pork. And at home, we just love it as a smoothie. We mix it up with bananas and papaya and watermelon, and it makes an amazing smoothie. So, best part of being a farmer is farm fresh food. It's quite good. Actually, today my farm manager Etienne is not here. He had to go to Kigali to make a delivery of peppers, but he's been doing some pretty good work. Um, he's he planted a few months ago a bunch of pineapple, and just recently he also brought, this is what we call ibinyomoro, or I think it's called Japanese prune, tree tomato. So ibinyomoro, and we have I think we bought about 20, maybe 50 plants. By the way, all of this is just for home consumption, because obviously everyone knows things in the market are not cheap anymore. So anything that we can, bring from the market, from the farm, I mean, is super important and can save a lot of money. Plus, I actually get to know where my food is coming from. I know it has no pesticides. I know it has been taken care of, and I know that the labor that has created whatever I'm eating is well taken care of, which is super important for me. Could have this, is it's lush, it has this. This. Remember these trees?
apple something?
Soursop.
Sour?
Soursop. Soursop.
Oh.
Mhm. It's a Caribbean fruit. Like hold them together
Mm.
and use sticks to kind of keep them
Sounds-
up. Uh, but yeah, this is here we have some. Look at the size of this papaya. Look at it, it's huge. Yeah, fresh fruit. And obviously, as you can see, we are in the middle of the dry season, so we need to figure out irrigation. So what you'll see is what we do. We have some water over there. We'll pump it to here, and then from here it will go to the different plants. Because with this heat, we're probably not. We're right now filming in on the 4th of July. So for Rwandans and Americans, for Americans, Happy Independence Day. For Rwandans, Happy Liberation Day. So right now, July 4th, we're probably going to get rain again in mid to late September. So it looks dry now. By late August, it will be like a desert. So if you do not have irrigation, it's just impossible. It's impossible. But fortunately enough, we have a lake 400 meters that way. So we pump water up and we're able to do some good work. Yeah. Camarillo ready. Let's see if there's one that's almost edible. No, I think the the young men, the young kids at the farm over there are eating them, but it's okay. It's okay. It's good that the people here at the farm also eat well and eat healthy food. So I'm not actually mad at all. I'm actually really happy that they're able to enjoy it. Um, the apple tree. Well, they're here. Um, yeah. So this is one of the apple trees. Can apple trees survive in equatorial Africa? Obviously, yes. Uh, and here we have some flowers. So because we have some flowers, we're thinking a couple of months, God willing, we'll have some fruit. We'll see how that one goes. And then we have this apple tree. This one, not much is happening. It's growing, it's strong, no problem. Now here you have, okay, I think this is probably Hass avocado. This tree, despite its size, I don't think it's more than 2 years old. So probably in a couple of months, I'll be having some fresh guacamole with my tortilla chips at home, courtesy of this tree. So that's fun. Mhm. Mhm. So this cow over this is the latest addition. The other cows obviously are not here. They've gone to eat some food and drink some water. But he's much too young to do that, so he stays here. His food is already here, and yeah, what is a Rwandan? What is a Rwandan farm without some cows? Right? Is it a real thing? You know, I'm not a great. I'm not a awesome cow person, but I just felt it was important for my own legacy and my own heritage as a Rwandan to at least have a few cows. So we do have a few, um, and that young man over there is the latest of the herd. So now we're going to head over there to the actual money maker of this farm, and that is the greenhouses. Let's go. So people who were with us last year, who watched the video last year, if you didn't, by the way, I suggest you watch it. But for those who were with us last year, you know that I had about 6 greenhouses, give or take. Now, when I did showcase them last year, there wasn't anything actually in the greenhouses. Now, fortunately, this time there is. And I'll not like bore you with showing you every single greenhouse. Let's just start with this one. And yeah, you have about here we have about 1,900 pepper plants. For those who don't know, I've actually made a mistake. I should have started with the fact that I am in this greenhouse. We have green and yellow sweet peppers, and so we irrigate them, and we spray and we fertilize, and we've tried to do it well. This is literally year 5 of this kind of project, and hopefully this season will be better than any other season ever before. So let's go and let's see what this is like. Karibu, karibu, karibu. But obviously, before we go in, we always make sure that we disinfect ourselves. So here you have a water and chlorine mixture. So it's Jeek, what we call Jeek. So it's Jeek and chlorine. In this little bottle over here, we're not going to be touching the plants that much, but in this little bottle, you also have alcohol. What we're trying to do is to disinfect ourselves, because what we're trying to do is ensure that the pathogens from outside, the bacteria, the viruses, and all that are killed, because most of the time they're on our feet. So you step here, 1, 2, and you're good to go. Come. So here we are now. We're inside the greenhouse, and as you can see, we have a lot of peppers ready to go to the market, which makes me a very happy person, because obviously I've spent a lot of money creating this, building these things, and paying for staff and preparing the ground. So when I see something like this weight, this fresh, I'm thinking I'm going to probably smile all the way to the bank. So, but you never take things for granted with agriculture, because one day you could be looking at a plant that looks absolutely gorgeous with huge leaves, no sign of disease, because what we want to look at is sometimes we want to go under the plant to make sure that there's no disease. Everything looks great. So this is makes me super happy, because what people don't understand about greenhouse agriculture is, yes, it's super expensive, but if you do it well, it's worth the investment. I'll give you an example. So here, this is something that's ready to harvest literally even today. I can literally take this home. But then you have, because what we're trying to do is like harvest once a week. So you have this ready to go. This is going to be ready in 6 days. Then by the time these two are done, this one is ready. Then this one is ready. Then you have plants, you have flowers. So you're going week on week getting value from one plant. Now, if you do everything well, you're trying to get at least 2 kilograms of sweet peppers minimum from each plant. Uh, we've not yet hit that target. That's why I always say, like, it's we're constantly learning, constantly trying to be better. But hopefully, with all the lessons learned, Etienne and I have done everything that we can to make this successful. So I have hope that all my investments were not in vain. So this is probably the biggest greenhouse here. It's about 15 meters this way to 30 meters that way. So, like I said, it has about close to 1,900 plants. So it's quite a lot. So now we have about another four of these. So that kind of tells you the scale. So on one side, scale is good because it gives you more money. On the other side, scale is bad because it costs more money. And trust me, I know about cost because my God. So, some people ask me, they see all, that's the thing with being a farmer, right? Like everyone assumes that it's always good news. But as a farmer, I can tell you, for every one good piece of news, there's like 10 pieces of bad news. Now, I've showed you the good, right? So peppers that look really, really healthy, no disease. Thankfully, the price at the market is not too bad. Now, I'm going to show you a part of the bad news. Now, right in front of us is probably the most expensive greenhouse on the farm. It's metal, unlike the ones that we saw earlier. The ones earlier are actually wood. This one, I bought it in about 2022. Now, I had a bit of money. I'd worked really, really hard. I think I had done a, a consultancy and I had money and I thought, okay, I need to do good work. So I go to a supplier. I will not mention their name because they'll get mad at me. And they say, you need to buy this kind of greenhouse. I remember it cost, give or take, about 9 million francs at the time. So probably it's worth a lot more now. Um, and so I put it up. I was super proud of myself. But I did not realize one thing. And that's what you learn by experience, is that because it was so high, so tall, and I'm next to a lake, there's way too much wind. So whenever the wind would blow, as it will during the dry season, during the rainy season, the the structure itself, which is metal, would stay strong, but this stuff, the polythene, would rip. So come on, I show you. When I say rip, this is what I mean. Ta-da! As you see, there's nothing but clear sky behind, on top of us. Why? Because it was ripped to shreds. Now, this is not the first time. It ripped to shreds, I believe, last year, right? And so to get it fixed took about 2 million francs. Now, I'm thinking, okay, we fixed the problem, it's fixed. And then early this year, lo and behold, it ripped again. Now, I had two choices. I was either going to get another 2 million francs and hope that it won't rip again, or I just realized sometimes when you're digging yourself a hole, sometimes it's best that you stop digging, right? And recalibrate. And so as a farmer, when I was a new farmer, I had a lot of ego. And I was like, no, things have to be the way I want them to be. But I've kind of learned that sometimes you just have to go with the flow. Sometimes the math does not math. And why should I continue spending millions of francs on something that maybe is fundamentally flawed? Not necessarily the greenhouse itself, but its positioning. Now, funny enough, the wooden ones, perfectly fine, right? Maybe because they're shorter, maybe because they're a bit more stout, maybe the design is wrong. Maybe the design of the wooden ones is right and this one was wrong. Or maybe, some of these things were Israeli technology, right? And truth of the matter is, the climatic conditions in Israel are not the same as the climatic conditions here in Rukumberi, southeastern Rwanda. And so, listen, this was a huge challenge. It's a huge loss because obviously, as you can see, I can't really do much here. Now, in a good season, something like this should have brought me at least maybe 3 or 4 million. But I might fix it, or I might do something differently. But I decided that instead of trying to rush the process, I'll take my time and I'll really think this through. But yes, one of the greatest challenges. And we're not even talking about disease. We're not talking about the cost of fuel, because as a farmer, what happens in Iran affects me. It affects me because I have to use fuel to pump water. And so if last year I would spend 22,000 per week, now I'm up to 35,000 per week just to ensure that all the greenhouses have water. But food prices haven't fundamentally changed. So you just have to that's the thing with a farmer. It's a lot of suffering, but a bit of victory as well. So I'm going down to the lake. Maybe I'll sit down, and there are a bunch of questions that people asked on the last video, and I will go through some of the questions and hopefully give the answers that people want. Let's go. So whenever you have a farm like this, there's nothing as magical as having a few puppies running around and giving it that little farm feel. So I have 2 dogs here. Hopefully, my biggest dream is to live here, so I can imagine having just 20 dogs just running wild and just enjoying space. Because sometimes I feel really bad for the dogs in Kigali, their little compounds, and I see this guy and he's just living his best life. Look at him, asleep. I guess there are no thieves here, so he has no job. Let's go. So obviously we're no longer in the greenhouses. We are in front of the majestic and beautiful and peaceful and serene Lake Mujasera, which my farm is right on. And like I promised, I will answer some questions from people. So Ijihozo Nshuti asked me to discuss the challenges that I've been facing, right? Because again, we always get the good news, we never get the bad. So here goes. First one, obviously, if you have a greenhouse, you need to have sources of water. We have sources of water, but how do you pump up the water? You need fuel. Right now, whereas when I started the project, fuel was maybe at about 1,000 francs a liter. Now it's at 2,900 francs a liter. That means the cost of production in terms of fuel has gone up 3 times, but have the price points at the market for a kilogram of sweet peppers gone up 3 points? No. 3 times? No. So that's a problem. Number two, there's inflation. Everything that we're buying, whether it's seeds, fortunately, the government has been really, really helpful in terms of fertilizer. The government has kept certain fertilizer prices down. So thank you, His Excellency, for making sure that that stayed a bit stable. But seeds, pesticides, fungicides increased in price. Have the prices of peppers in the market increased? No, at least not for us farmers, right? So it has stayed within the same bounds between 800 at its absolute worst per kilogram to maybe 3,000 francs per kilogram at its absolute best. The numbers haven't changed in about 5 years, but the cost of production has increased. So that's money issues. I've also had a huge problem dealing with what we call powdery mildew, which is a type of it's a fungicidal disease. It's been a huge problem. We've tried to use all sorts of stuff. I've literally even gone to Kenya to buy fungicides. It hasn't worked. And it's just a constant fight. It's a constant fight. Most other farmers in Europe, Northern Europe or Israel, could maybe have one plant lasting for 9 months. And that's 9 months of constantly harvesting, constantly making money. I'm lucky if I hit 6 months, because guess what? Maybe, I don't know whether it is what we're doing wrong, whether it's just the climate, maybe it's because we're so close to a water body and everything becomes sometimes super humid here. But it's been a big problem. I've had to deal with theft. I've had to, people coming in and just harvesting the green peppers before they've become ripe. So we've had to deal with security. We've had to increase our security. I've lost tools. You wake up and a wheelbarrow's gone. We've had to deal with that, and it is what it is. It's a constant challenge. There's, like I said, for every one good piece of news, usually it's about 9. But what keeps me going is the fact that I feel like I'm doing something that is important, that I actually enjoy. Yes, I'm complaining. I do complain a lot, but very few things give me as much joy as eating a salad and knowing that those peppers come from my farm, that I created this, or feeding my children and seeing that they're happy and healthy and eating food that is good for them. So that makes me 100% happy, and I like the challenge. I think I'm just stubborn. I hit a challenge, and I'm like, you know what? I will not stop. I'll figure out how to approach this and how to, surmount the challenge. And so far, it's been a journey, many ups and downs, more downs than ups. But when you're a farmer, you kind of always hope for the best. And I'm very, very optimistic. And I always think last year was bad, but this year is going to be amazing. So that is the truth. That is the truth. You spend a lot of money. Upfront costs are very, very high. And it takes you years on end to get back the money of the original investment. Would I ask someone to do what I've done? Perhaps, but then I'll need someone to really think this through to actually understand that it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. This is a 10-year plan. When you plant mangoes, it's a 10-year, 15-year plan. When you plant coffee, it's a 5-year plan. When you have cattle, it takes a while from a calf to the time when you're either eating meat or getting milk. It takes time. So if you are a young person who doesn't have a lot of money, maybe go slow. Take some time and think it through. So the next question is from Ethan. So why is a Kigali boy who is fundamentally what? I'm a lawyer, I'm a podcaster, I'm a writer, I'm a journalist, I'm everything but a farmer, but I guess I am. So where does the passion come from? I think in this world that we live in, sometimes things come so easy and you don't have to go through a process. But what I love with farming is that you cannot cheat the process. You plant a seed and you water that seed and it grows. Although, funny enough, sometimes you can do all that and the seed doesn't grow. Now, what I love most about farming is you can't cheat. It's an honest, essential service. Now, in other places, say you can bribe your way to a political position. You can bribe your way into a job. But you cannot plant a seed and water it when it needs, say, a liter of water. You cannot give it 5 liters of water and it will grow 5 times faster. Actually, you probably kill it. I like the fact that it's natural. I like the fact that you cannot cheat. I like the fact that out of nothing comes something. I love the fact that it's honest. I love the fact that it's life-sustaining. In this world where everything is about content, or which is funny because I'm creating content right now, but in this world where everything's about online, I love the fact that goats, someone has to be a goat farmer, and then you have to produce those goats so that we can eat them or enjoy the goat milk. It's real, it's genuine, it's human. It's what separates us from the other great apes. What it is thought and agriculture. And it just makes me feel very human. Yes, my father, maybe when I was younger, had a farm, so I'd go with him and I'd spend time with him. So maybe there's a bit of that as well. But I do think that a lot of people, young men and women whose parents were farmers, but not all of them love it as much as I do. So there's something about sitting under a tree. There's something about eating something that you've created. There's something about drinking the milk that has come from a cow that you fed that just gives me such joy and pleasure. And I cannot think of many things that give me as much happiness as farming. So Martin is asking where they can find me for advice. I don't know if I'm the right person for advice. Maybe my advice would be not to do it. But if you actually are still thinking that I have something that I can share with you, you can find me on Instagram. My DMs are open. My profile is public. So just slide in my DMs, ask a question, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you and to share as much as I can. So dear Ben, you're asking about being a client for cassava and whatnot. So unfortunately, we do not have cassava at scale. I mean, if you come to my house, perhaps we can share a meal. But right now, in terms of what we're actually taking to the market, we are taking to the market every week sweet peppers. So if that's something that you're interested in, again, my Instagram is open. Just DM me, share your number, and we can see how we get those peppers to you. So, welcome to Rukumberi. Welcome to my farm. And yes, I do drink beer every so often. Yes, I do sometimes wear shirts that are not made in Rwanda. So a lot of people think they know me, but obviously I don't share that much about myself. So today, my team sent I wouldn't call it a questionnaire, but I got questions from people who like to know more about me. So here I am, at your mercy, ready to answer all the questions. Cheers. So question number one, what do I think of career and business and choosing between the two? Now, I've done both. What would I choose as a 45-year-old man? 100% business. I love the fact that I can control my life. I love the fact that if I wake up and I have money in my pocket and I have a visa, I can go to Italy tomorrow. And no one is going to ask me, where are you going? Why are you going? I can do this. But on the other hand, I also remember the fact that if I go to Italy too long and enjoy myself too much, at the end of the month, I have no money. So career gives you a stable income every month. I mean, if you have a good employee, and let's not talk about the bad ones, but if you have a good employee, every 30 days you earn some money. So if I'm a young person, I'm not going immediately for business. I want to learn. I want to learn how to work. I want to learn about systems. I want to learn how to work with other people. As you get older, can you get those lessons and transform them into something that becomes yours? Because at the end of the day, I think there are very few people who do not want to be the captains of their ship. So for me, I say aim to get off the employment train, but do not be so quick to want to become a business person. That can be a bit risky, and I do not want someone to be at risk. There's no reason for that. So, what's the next question? Do I ever go outside without a Made in Rwanda shirt? Ta-da! So this, if I'm not mistaken, I got it at, it's not the Gap, it's H&M. So, but what I try to do when I am going out for a purpose, whether it is a podcast or I'm going out to a party, I like to represent where I'm from. And I'm from Rwanda. And I like to showcase our amazing talent. Whether it's House of Tayo, whether it is Kigali Kaftan, whether it is Otpaso, I like to showcase those brands, because if we don't do it, who will? And so that's what I do. I try to, it's purposeful, it's not by mistake. But obviously when I'm at the farm, there's not many Made in Rwanda brands that can handle, me fighting with a cow. But this good old shirt, it does the job just fine. Next question. How do I keep it going every day? I think I choose to find joy in moments. Let's be honest. Sometimes the world seems like a terrible place. You watch the news, if it's not the Congolese, it is the Iranians. If it's not Donald Trump, it's xenophobia in South Africa. But if you can find those little moments where you can play with your child and he looks at you and he calls you dad, and you play and you laugh, that keeps you going. If you meet someone, and at least I can speak on my own behalf, when I meet someone and they say, uh, there's a conversation that you helped curate that I found a lot of value in, that's amazing. It keeps me going. If I come to the farm and I'm feeling super stressed, I find the beauty in what the Christians would call God's creation. And so what keeps me going is, I mean, there are moments of such beauty that it kind of almost negates the ugliness of the world. And what you want to do is to make sure that when you see those moments of beauty, you recognize them. Because sometimes what we do is we take those moments of beauty for granted, and all we see is what is bad. But when you're with your mom and dad and you're having a good conversation, you're lucky. There are many people who don't have parents. And that is beauty. And that should keep you going. If you have a job, if you have your health, keep going. Always think about the fact that, Rwanda 32 years ago was in the midst of death. Now look at us now. We're alive and we're beautiful. And so what keeps me going is, to be honest, Rwanda's example, my children, my family, the work that I do, and the spaces that I've curated for my own existence. So find those things of joy and actually dwell in them, and find the beauty in them. And that's just, that's my advice.
We've also put together some questions for people to get to know you better. So these you have to answer fast. No thinking, no.
Let's go.
Are you more of a coffee or tea person?
Coffee first, but now, unfortunately, coffee makes my heart go boom, boom, boom. So I'm starting to drink tea.
What's your favorite place that you've ever traveled?
Favorite place, it would be Tuscany, Italy.
If you weren't doing what you're doing now, what career would you be in?
I'd be a farmer.
If you weren't, you're already a farmer, so something else.
I'd like to be a DJ.
Okay. What's one hobby you wish you had more time for?
A hobby?
You wish you had more time for?
Gardening.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
Keep the main thing the main thing.
What kind of music do you listen to when driving?
Dance hall.
Are you more of a planner or do you like to wing it?
Wing it.
What's one thing that's currently on your bucket list?
Traveling to Eritrea.
What's your favorite meal?
Chapati and beans.
What's something people are always surprised to learn about you?
That I'm married and have kids.
Um,
And who I'm married to.
What's one thing you spend money on that you'll never regret?
My farm.
Are you competitive?
No.
If your friends described you in 3 words, what do you think they'd say?
Scandalous, big-mouthed, opinionated.
And lastly, what's your favorite podcast apart from your own?
My favorite is called So Shameless podcast. It's 3 African Americans who talk about African American issues. They talk about relationships, sex, politics, sports, and I'll literally listen to them when I'm walking. I'll listen to them when I'm driving. They're hilarious.
Okay, that's all.
And by the way, before we go, one day, maybe a couple of years from now, I will be inviting all of you to my farm here at Rukumberi to share a drink with me and maybe swim in the lake, maybe have some fresh fish. Enjoy that. Cheers. So it's now 5:25, and if you want to get to Kigali before it's too dark, we have to leave. It's about an hour, 45 minutes to get there. And yeah, so I'm leaving paradise back to Mad Kigali. Wish I could stay longer. Hopefully, in 5 years, I'll be living here full time. Fingers crossed, my wife will allow it. So, I hope you enjoyed whatever you saw today. I really enjoyed taking you with me. And inshallah, a year from now, I'll even have better news. So, thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe. Go to the long form podcast if you don't know about it. That's the podcast that I have every week, where I talk to the most interesting Africans and people who are close to Africa. So, thank you so much and have a great day. Cheers.